Welcome back, friends. Sarah was rightly commenting the beginning of wisdom is fear of the Lord. And I was talking with another wise young fellow, and I said, you know, well, there's no fear of the Lord because I don't think he's thought most of, and if he is, he's just one idea among many. It's Arianism, even at best, it's Arianism run amok.
Right.
So there's no fear. All right. The first secret, the vision of hell. Vision of hell is a terrifying experience. So, right, we had heaven, we had purgatory, now we're here. Say, Sister Lucia, so she's a sister at this time, and she's describing her vision in her memoirs. As Our Lady spoke these last words, the convisions, the sacrifice prayer, those were her last words. She opened her hands once more, as she had done during the 2 previous months. The rays of light seemed to penetrate the earth, and we saw it as it were a sea of fire. Plunged in this fire were demons and souls in human form, like transparent burning embers, all blackened or burnished bronze, floating about in the conflagration, now raised into the air by the flames that issued from within themselves, together with great clouds of smoke, now falling back on every side like sparks in huge fires, without weight or equilibrium, amid shrieks and groans of pain and despair, which horrified us and made us tremble with fear. It must have been this sight which caused me to cry out as people say they heard me. The demons could be distinguished by their terrifying and repellent likeness to frightful and unknown animals, black and transparent like burning coals. Terrified, and as if to plead for succor, we looked up at Our Lady, who said to us so kindly and so sadly, "You have seen hell." So right now, here we have the vision. Now we're having the words. "You have seen hell, where the souls of poor sinners go. To save them, God wishes to establish in the world devotion to my Immaculate Heart. If what I say to you is done, many souls will be saved and there will be peace."
Yeah, it's interesting because you think of past devotions that rose up with such alacrity. Saint Dominic was given, or as tradition says, the rosary, which became well known. I mean, it took very little effort to get that known universally. I'm trying to think of any other apparition or not apparition, but devotion. And yet this one is it's so hard to light a fire, to get true devotion to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. It really is reserved to a very small group of people. And I mean, I'd never really put it together before, but you're beginning this, you're premising this on the Protestant Reformation. It seems so eminently clear how destructive of a force that was overall, because even now we begin to see in our modern our modern religious movements that very frequently, when we look back at what we would consider the orders within the church, and we've had this discussion before about how there are mother, father founders, right? That you had Saint Teresa of Avila and Saint John of the Cross. You had Saint Francis and Saint Clare. You had Saint Dominic and Saint Benedict. I mean, Saint Scholastica and Saint Benedict and Saint Dominic and Saint Catherine of Siena. These mother, father founders of these orders that have endured through incredible times of suffering. But after the Protestant Reformation, you have no real orders with mother, father founders. And all of them that have been founded, these movements that are, I'm not going to say that they are not movements of the Spirit, but there is a decided lack because they lack the maternal. And to me, there is a profound truth of within these this particular apparition the authentic maternity and love of the love of the Blessed Mother in her authentic maternity, and her maternity is specifically immaculate, right? That there has to be a restoration of that, of the elevation of her. I mean, she herself said when she was speaking that from this generation, from this time on, all generations will call me blessed. So that need, or that effectiveness of spreading the truth of her maternal love will be the mantle of peace that comes over the world.
That's right. It will come no other way, frankly. And I know that's a bold statement for some to hear.
Right.
Lucia, reflecting on the effect of Jacinta, will say, the vision of hell filled her with horror to such a degree that every penance and mortification was nothing in her eyes, if it could only prevent souls from going there. Jacinta often sat thoughtfully on the ground or on a rock and exclaimed, "Oh, hell, hell! Sorry I am for the souls who go to hell, and the people down there burning alive like wood in the fire." Then, shuddering, she knelt down with her hands joined and recited the decade prayer that the lady taught us. So during this apparition of July, the decade and the vision of hell, Our Lady teaches them this prayer as remedy. Oh, my Jesus, forgive us our sins, save us from the fires of hell. Lead all souls to heaven, and especially those most in need of thy mercy. Some of you may already know that prayer with your rosary, but that is where it comes from. Wow. I think we're about to go into the second secret. So you can see why July is pretty extensive. Maybe we'll have some thoughts from you, Sarah, and then maybe we'll pick up second secret in the next show.
Well, the one thing that I was just thinking about is just how bold and how sorrowful innocence is before the face of hell, right? I mean, a real, as she said, no one was as profoundly affected by the vision of hell as the most innocent was, but also no one was as profoundly moved to prayer as the most innocent was. And so that element of maintaining ourselves in a state of grace is essential to have what I would call a real aversion to going to hell, right? We don't want to go there, but also a real desire to seek reparations, to prevent others from going. I think that our lack of innocence has so corrupted our belief that hell could be so bad because we've done so many bad things and nothing bad happened to us, right? All of us sin every single day, and lightning doesn't come down and strike us. It doesn't seem like it's really any big deal, and yet it should be a profound question that we ask ourselves every day. Like, as a kind of joking aside, I determine whether or not I want to spend something because I'll say something like, well, is that worth a trip to Paris, right? But the reality of that is this sinful action worthy of hell? Do I really want to go to hell for this? And I think that we so often don't count the cost. But, when you see that movement, that interior recollection of such a tiny little child as Jacinta, it should move you a little interiorly.
It sure should. It sure should. All right, my friends, we are going to pick up with the second secret given in July as well. Till then, Fides Ratio.